Hello everyone, welcome back to KNET. I hope everyone had an awesome spring break. I did. What about you, Hammer?
Oh yeah, most definitely, although it's definitely not feeling like it today.
The telethon is coming up. We are very excited about that. We have dodgeball sign-ups.
Yes, and we also have the Overwatch tournament coming up, so if you're into games, be sure to get into that.
For sure. And also the juniors, you have the ACT tomorrow. Sorry about it, but you got to take it. It'll help you out in your future. Don't forget to bring pencils. Don't forget your calculator. Anything else?
Oh yeah, definitely. You're going to need a snack and a drink because you're going to be there for a while,
Oh, yeah.
so be prepared.
We have a video that Ripley made about the gun control talks and also all of the school walkouts. And then after that, you had an interview with Dr. J. What was that like?
It was definitely great. Big shout out to him for doing that. He did a great job.
Coming up the sidewalk here, this is on the east side of the school. They're all appear to be okay right there.
February 14th, 2018, one of the biggest school shootings in America took place in Parkland, Florida, taking 17 victims and wounding several others. This is one of 14 school shootings that took place just this year. Students around the nation are saying they've had enough, including here at Liberty North.
We're just trying to send a message to the community that the young people in the community, like, we're not going to let the events that are happening in our community and in our country fly past us like it has in the past. We're going to make a stand, we're going to be aware, and we're going to let people know that we're not just going to let this happen. We're going to be a part of a movement. We're going to be a part of hopefully a change as well.
Several walkouts have taken place, including on March 2nd and again on March 14th, each lasting 17 minutes in honor of the 17 victims. Here, students honored the victims and wrote letters towards our senators.
I'm walking out to get tighter laws on gun control. You can have all the guns you want, but you should be able to pass mental testing saying you're stable to have a gun.
Marty Jacob questions how effective are these protests.
Whether or not the students who participated in it learned something from it and really did it with a very sincere purpose, that they want to convey a message to the powers to be that we need to keep working on making schools safer. If it's for that reason, then yeah, there's a certain amount of success to that. If it was just a walkout because somebody else walked out, then that's not successful, and that's really inappropriate.
One suggestion the administration has is to hold future walkouts during study period.
The study time idea, to me, lends more credence to getting that message put out, because then it's students doing it kind of on their own time, as opposed to interrupting an English class or a history class where the teacher would have to make some adjustments. Because of that, it really is on their own time. And I think that for people that think that the walkout idea is a really bad idea and inappropriate, it really sends the message that, no, we're serious about this, and it's important enough for me to take my own time to do this. And I'm not being a quote-unquote person that just wants to do it just to get out of class.
And it has become very serious. Public officials are discussing the possibility of arming teachers.
Administration is suggesting that we do a little bit more work formally to determine if we want to arm people other than school resource officers or security officers in the building. Right now, I'm not necessarily opposed, to any idea, but it really needs to be thought through, and it needs to not just have the idea of making things better, but a high degree of certainty that doing these things will be better.
More information about the administration and their plans on security can be found at the meetings at the PAT.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for watching. I'm Brent O'Leary. This is Hammer Trinidad. We're here with Liberty North High School Principal Dr. Jacobs. Thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
So recently we've had some PAT meetings over gun safety, gun control, and things like that. Can you kind of elaborate why this has been happening?
Sure. Last week or a couple weeks ago, we brought students into the PAT to talk about basically the concept of school safety in light of the Parkland tragedy. And the idea was to begin a dialogue about how we can make North safe or safer, and then grow it from there in terms of issues and concerns and questions that students had that go beyond the boundaries of Liberty Public Schools, and continue that dialogue.
So when you talk about safety, a lot of people think that they'd be safer if their teachers had guns. What's your stance on that?
Personally, I don't like the idea of teachers with guns, but it is going to be a discussion, I think, across the country, and probably in greater numbers than it ever has been before, because some school districts have instituted that. But it would take an awful lot of discussion, training, and I don't think it'd ever go into anybody's contract that they have to do that. But it's one of those ideas that sounds good in certain contexts, but takes an awful lot of discussion to make that happen.
So yeah, kind of extending past teachers, what do you think the students themselves can do to help?
Well, a couple of things, real simple things, Hamilton, would be that if you know that somebody is thinking about something that would be as heinous and tragic as what has happened in some of our schools, that we let somebody know right away. Find a trusted adult in the building, doesn't matter who that is, teacher, custodian, principal, counselor, and let them know. The biggest thing is to share information. If the information is found to be wrong, great. I'd much rather have 100 conversations about something that's wrong than have to deal with one situation that went wrong. So,
in this video here, you were quoted as saying that you think it might be a little disrespectful to walk out when class is going because it might be disrespectful and disruptive. But do you think with big matters like this that it could be necessary?
Yeah, it can be, Brent. It's a good question. And what I was trying to say when we're talking to students in the theater is that a symbolic act of walking out can communicate a viewpoint, but the biggest thing and the most important thing is to follow that up with action, such as visiting with people who have the power to make legislation that would be better for our schools, or people in the building like the principal, like me, or the superintendent to deal with safety issues in our local sites. And what I always encourage kids to think about is that when you do a symbolic act like that, if you do it on your own time, like our study time in fifth hour, it conveys a more credible message to people who don't like that idea, that kids walk out. And there are some school systems and places across the country and some legislators and people in leadership position that don't like that idea, and they think kids are just skipping class. And that's what I was encouraging kids to think about. We had a group that went out last week, and they were very respectful, and we had some conversations, and what we're going to do is follow up with that group and the group we met with in the theater after the holiday break and start talking about action plans that would be logical and appropriate to take.
Okay, so obviously we took a pretty progressive take on this here at North, but over at Park Hill they were a little less lenient, so what are your thoughts on that?
Well, every school has their own policies and procedures, every district does, and it stems from philosophical views as well. So they had their view and we have ours, and you know, I'm not going to decry theirs and say that was wrong, but I think that what we tried to do here is to create a dialogue that will have a lasting impact, to say this is how we can deal with issues in a democratic society to try to make the world around us better, and that takes communication.
And we heard about an hour before our school started that in Maryland there was a shooting and a school resource officer took control of the situation. What are your reaction to that?
Well, thank goodness for the police officer who did that. You can't thank him enough for having the bravery and the courage to take action and deal with this. I just hope that the two students survive and are able to continue their lives and livelihoods.
Well, we thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule. Thank you so
you.
much, and back to the front.
Get excited about the telethon. It's this Friday. Don't forget to bring some money if you want to play some games, get some donuts, anything that we have
definitely.
going on.
We're going to be going all day long, so be sure to tune in whenever you can.
We will be back here tomorrow, and until then, we'll catch you on the north side.